Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here. We're going to be talking about WWE's Monday Night Raw. This is the go-home show to get us to WrestleMania as we look at the Monday Night Raw 5-point preview. We look at the fact that we're getting a Seth Rollins return, a Goldberg appearance, and then hyping up three big matches for Fastlane with Roman Reigns going up against Braun Strowman, Enzo Amore, and Big Cass, who became the number one contenders. They're going to be going up against the Club, and then of course we're setting up the big rematch of your women's champion Bayley going up against Charlotte Flair. It's been a long time since in WWE we saw Seth Rollins. He's going to be coming back for the first time since his injury where he hurt his right ACL in the little twist up with Samoa Joe. Of course, the plan was to do Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe at Fastlane, setting up Seth Rollins against Triple H at WrestleMania. In my mind, honestly, I thought that the injury was a horrible setback for Seth Rollins, who missed a big part of WrestleMania 32, as well as the calendar 2016 year. He was coming off, the breakout of the Shield. Of course, he won the Money in the Bank. He cashed in and won at WrestleMania 31. He held that championship a lot longer than people really thought he was going to have it, and the only reason he lost it was due to injury. Seth coming back, with him having a match against Samoa Joe, I think that the match was really going to not hurt him, but I mean it's probably better that they're not doing Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe at Fastlane for the one reason of, Samoa Joe coming in and losing his first pay-per-view match to set up Seth Rollins against Triple H at WrestleMania 33. That's going to be one hell of a match. That both of those guys are going to go in there and give it their all. In storyline, both of these guys have hated each other for well over a year, but when it comes down to it, Seth Rollins is one of the best NXT students to rise through the NXT ranks, and to go out there and have a match against Triple H, I'm sure is, Triple H set out what NXT was going to be. I didn't think that he really thought that he was going to be making his future WrestleMania opponents, but for, everything that Rollins has said about going through NXT and the struggles that came with it, and developmental holding him down, and then Triple H saying that he kept on pushing Rollins, that he had all the tools, but he didn't. If he didn't, what was he trying to say? He said that he was fighting with Terry Taylor and stuff like that, and those are the things that were holding him back. He could be the most ready guy in the roster, but if they don't have anything for him, they can't just push him through. But for him to be able to have a WrestleMania match, you know how proud he was. I think it was WrestleMania 31 when they looked at the card and they noticed that every single match had somebody that went through NXT. For him to have his first match against an NXT guy, well, I guess he had a match against Roman. I'm wasting a whole bunch of people's time, but it's going to be a fucking awesome match. From there, we have, Goldberg showing up. He's going to be taking on Kevin Owens. In my mind, I'm thinking more of the WrestleMania 33 match. I'm thinking of Goldberg versus Brock. The Brock Lesnar promo last week with Paul Heyman, with Brock all up in our face, just millimeters away from where the camera was an awesome setup for an interview. You really took his threats to Goldberg personally. You really believed that he was going to go through anything to get his hands on Goldberg and prove that he is the biggest threat in WWE. But Goldberg being on Raw means that Goldberg and Kevin Owens, who's the match at Fastlane, they're going to be in the same ring at the same time. So maybe we could get some physicality between them. I'm really looking forward to that. Honestly, last week, the Braun Strowman versus Big Show match, I think honestly really didn't deliver. But for anybody who didn't fall asleep during the match, when Roman Reigns made his run-in at the end, it was a fucking awesome Superman punch. And honestly, in my mind, I think it's the best Superman punch that we've ever seen from Roman Reigns. He hit Braun Strowman right in the fucking mouth, and Braun didn't even go down. He didn't even kneel on one knee. He sort of spun around in a circle and was looking to kick some ass. Roman Reigns definitely is going up against his biggest battle in Braun Strowman. Braun's luck has to run up sooner than later. To me, honestly, especially if the plans are looking that they're going to do Undertaker versus Roman Reigns, my bet's that Roman's going to win clean at Fastlane. So more than likely, Braun is going to beat the piss out of Roman here on Monday Night Raw and give us something to go from there. Enzo Amore and Big Cass closed in on Big Gal and Andy. The club carrying the tag team championships. They're going to be making their first pay-per-view. What's the word I'm looking for? Defense. First pay-per-view defense. Enzo and Kaz going up against them. It was honestly a big surprise, especially that they had the number one contenders match against Sheamus and Cesaro and were able to pull it out. Enzo and Kaz being able to come up to the top. I'm not going to say that basically I think that they're a lot like Bayley, but I don't think that they're going to get the win in their first tag team trials. So we'll go with that. And then, of course, what team does Charlotte Flair have in store for Bayley? Definitely, Bayley is the one who's always going to get tricked and beat up. She's probably going to go into every pay-per-view a little bit wounded, so I wouldn't be surprised if Charlotte does get her hands on Bayley one way or another. But I don't think that Charlotte's pay-per-view streak is going to end at Fastlane. If it is going to end anywhere, it'll be at one of the big two pay-per-views, that being WrestleMania or SummerSlam. I don't see her losing on any other ones. So one way or another, she's getting that championship back, and I think it's going to come at Fastlane. That's your Monday Night Raw 5-point preview. Looking forward to the big pay-per-view. Look forward to you guys letting me know what you guys think about the big Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg match, the Goldberg versus Kevin Owens match, and then, of course, Seth Rollins' return on Monday Night Raw. Peace out, everybody. Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you as we're getting ready for the big Monday Night Raw on the road to Fastlane. Probably everything that everybody's looking forward to on WWE's Monday Night Raw is going to be the build-up of Goldberg going up against Kevin Owens for the WWE Universal Championship. But to me, honestly, the must-see ordeal, which is going to be going down on Monday Night Raw, is the return of Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins hasn't been seen in WWE for the last few weeks, mainly because he got his ass kicked by Samoa Joe, and during that ass whooping, Samoa Joe, basically took Seth Rollins down. Seth Rollins tore his right MCL, re-injuring the same knee that was hurt last year, which made him miss out on WrestleMania 32. When he was wrestling in the match over in Germany against Kane. It took him out of the WWE championship picture when he was, as champion, going to be going up against Roman Reigns. He did not return until after WrestleMania this year, when I think he came back at Extreme Rules, and then challenged for the championship, winning it at Money in the Bank, but then losing it seconds later to a returning Dean Ambrose, cashing in his Money in the Bank that he had won on the same night. That was a pretty cool deal that all three members of the Shield basically held the championship on the same night. Basically, Reigns coming in as champion, Rollins beating him, and then Ambrose beating him. It was a great way to kick off the whole draft ordeal, basically with splitting up. Rollins as being the number one pick of Monday Night Raw, Ambrose being one of the number one picks of SmackDown, and then battling back and forth to see which brand was going to have the WWE Championship. Of course, Ambrose would escape with the win, bringing the belt, but then, of course, they would bring a new championship that was won by Finn Balor, and then once it was released, given to Kevin Owens, the WWE Universal Championship. So both brands would have major world championship belts for the guys to compete with. A little bit more backstory is that WWE has been, putting out tweets basically saying that they don't feel that Rollins is going to be able to be a part of WrestleMania 33 this year. Basically saying that he's not going to be able to compete. He's not going to be able to get clearance. Honestly, in my mind, this is nothing more than just a WWE smokescreen. I wouldn't be surprised if, his return tonight is able to lure Samoa Joe and Triple H out to the ring. I know when you do your math and how many weeks he was supposed to be out, it doesn't make sense. But I wouldn't be surprised if actually Rollins is able to be physical in the ring tomorrow. I don't know any other reason why they would bring him back other than for him to get his hands on Samoa Joe and Triple H. Still being able to do... maybe him having a real match against Samoa Joe at Fastlane might be a little bit too much. Maybe they can find some sort of gimmick or deal for them to do. But then, of course, WrestleMania 33, one of the big matches, Triple H versus Seth Rollins, would still be on. Honestly, in my opinion, if they're not going to be able to give us Seth Rollins for WrestleMania, I think that they honestly would leave him in the background and not be bringing him up. The fact that they're bringing him to Raw, they're tweeting out the facts that he's not going to be able to compete, makes me feel that they're just trying to swerve us, and we're going to be seeing Rollins probably at Fastlane and then WrestleMania as well. Alright, I was fired up when I first heard that Goldberg was going to be on WWE's Monday Night Raw this week. Then I started to think about the fact that maybe this is going to be one of the weeks that Brock Lesnar is taking the week off. But then I thought to myself, fuck, I'm getting myself hyped up for a match that's not even going to happen. I was thinking about Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, playing off of the Brock Lesnar promo that we got on Monday Night Raw last week. I keep thinking about the WrestleMania 33 match. It's not even in my mind that Goldberg is fighting for the WWE Universal Championship at Fastlane at this upcoming pay-per-view on Sunday. To me, honestly, because of the fact they keep hyping up the fact of Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg, I'm really starting to go away from the fact that Goldberg is going to be winning the championship. Last week, I think, when I thought the pay-per-view... last week when I did the Monday Night Raw 5-point preview, I really thought that was the go-home show to Fastlane. I thought Fastlane was actually going to be today, and it would be awesome if it was today, because I'd be watching it right now. Spilt my tea. But that's not the way it is. So now here we are 7 days later, and I'm honestly not as high on the fact of thinking that, they're going to be putting the belt on Goldberg. To me, honestly, there's 1,000 different things. I've talked about it in 2 different videos. I think it points them into a corner of basically, then how do you get the belt off of Goldberg, or how do you get the belt off of Brock? I don't know if they're going to be doing the reverse order of which pay-per-views did they switch this last year after WrestleMania? Was it Battleground and Extreme Rules, or it was something in Extreme Rules? Extreme Rules used to be after WrestleMania, and they moved it to the next one. But whatever it is, is that a show you're going to put Goldberg on in order to have them drop the championship? It doesn't make much sense for him to win the championship. I'm not looking for him to have some monumental run that lasts past SummerSlam into Survivor Series or anything like that, but it's sort of like, how long do you keep this party going? I mean, honestly, I think getting this match at Fastlane with Goldberg against Kevin Owens definitely is a big thing for WWE. It is definitely going to keep people's interest in this, Royal Rumble to WrestleMania season. But I don't know what the long-term plan or the long-term deal is. I would bet that Brock Lesnar is going to be at Fastlane in one way or another. To me, honestly, as far as I can remember, Brock doesn't have any problem with Kevin Owens. It's been rumored for a long time that Brock would have a match with Kevin Owens somewhere down the road, and if Brock was going to have a match with any normal member of the roster, it would make sense. Maybe they've had a match at a house show, and I can't remember, but, something like that, but, I just don't see Brock hurting Kevin Owens to make sure Goldberg wins the championship, to make his match a championship match. That's the smartest plan in the world if you could do anything. But to me, I think, honestly, Goldberg beat Brock at WrestleMania 20. He beat him at Survivor Series. He eliminated him at the Royal Rumble. If Brock gets a clean shot at Goldberg at Fastlane, I think he's going to take it. And whether that causes is a disqualification and, Owens still retains the title, I don't think that is the grand master plan for WrestleMania. So if I was to make a bet right now, I'm guessing that, there will be a WrestleMania 33 match between Goldberg and Brock, but it will not be for the championship. And then we'll probably have Jericho versus Owens for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. So the breakup of friends. So we'll see about that.